welcome back to the Book Breathing Fish Queens podcast. I'm Sam.
And I'm Allie. And this week we're jumping into chapter 26. This is a favorite chapter. It's where, after summer solstice, Lucien, Tamlin, and Feyre are having lunch or breakfast after a long night. And Rhys shows up. And that's, it's just iconic, I guess. I feel like this is like one of those chapters that everybody just like talks about and remembers. There's so many moments and so many lines in here that so
I have a feeling that this is going to be a longer chapter because I have a lot of notes.
A longer episode. Yeah. I had less notes than I thought. I think it's because I feel like I almost don't know what to think because people have talked about this scene so much. Like, it's almost like the more iconic, the less you have. But I did have some things. I did notice some interesting things like that I didn't see before. But yeah,
I noticed our theory.
Yes.
Textual evidence for our theory. Hard textual evidence. Like,
it was crazy.
We have this is not we have an exhibit A.
We need to make like a graphic. Like, each of these quotes,
or like each time we do it and just like have a judge be like speculation, hearsay, and they're like, well, you got a point with this.
It fits the vibes.
You got a point with that one. Chapter 26. I remembered / didn't remember quite a bit of things. I got a lot. I think we got a lot to talk about. I have some thoughts like straight out the gate, but yeah.
Okay. Well, so okay. The first thing I was wondering was Lucien, they start off, teasing each other about being out and, I heard you were doing this, I heard you were doing that. And then but I was more interested in Lucien saying that he was on border patrol, and then Tamlin like coughs and he's like with some company.
Yes.
I mean, probably the company doesn't matter as much, but I am wondering like, I guess that's maybe just like joking around being like, and you were with somebody, but I was interested about the border patrol.
So
especially with the news.
I did highlight something before this moment, but I do want to talk about this. It's a very quick thing. So the moment when it says like, ever since I complained about the unnecessary size of the table, we'd taken the dining at a much reduced version. Mm-hmm. And I wrote the first redeeming moment for Tamlin.
He's a nice guy.
Is that he keeps it close for her.
Yeah.
I literally wrote, kind of cute. That's a first.
I will say it's kind of strange for a romance book. I think a lot of their development and relationship happened off page.
Yeah.
She talks about how she had rode the forest with the High Lord at her side, but like we don't see very many of those scenes. Mm-hmm. Which is, it's an interesting choice. Yeah, for sure. But yeah. I'm sure he has other redeeming qualities though. We just don't see them.
Sure.
And that's weird.
Like the moments where I'm like, oh, okay, I can see why I liked him. This is a moment where I'm like, that's sweet that he kept it like, oh, you don't want to be that far away? Cool. We'll like let's, and like the bringing them in of those three, the relationship building, I was like, it's kind of cute. So I have two different readings of this Lucien Border Patrol situation.
Okay.
First reading is how I read it the first time I read it, with no other context. And that is, his metal eye narrows on me. I'll have you know that while you two were dancing with the spirits, I was stuck on border patrol. And Tamlin gives him a pointed cough. And then we're not going to deal with the company yet. So two things. One, Tamlin coughs because Lucien has just revealed that Tamlin kisses and tells. And he doesn't want, he's like, really, bro? Like, imagine if it was like, while you guys were out banging, I was doing work. And then, he's not supposed to know that they were doing that, right? So, like,
I didn't think it was because Tamlin told him. I thought he saw them or people were talking about it because, it's like Tamlin's famous.
Yeah. I mean, maybe. But I read it as, like, he just broke bro code by revealing to the crush that Tamlin talks about her. And told him what happened.
Either way.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just thinking, like, just a romance, like, cutesy high school kind of bullshit where, like, Tamlin's, or, you know, Lucian's like, well, while you guys were making out, I was doing real shit. And Tamlin's kind of like, bro, like, fuck, I told you, like, don't kill my vibe right now, my friend, right? And so that's how I read it first. I was like, oh, it's cute. He's like, fuck, man, she's not supposed to know. I told you, shut up. Like, you know, that kind of, like, cute, playful thing. And then he adds with some company. Okay, so, like, maybe to take off the heat of, like, being like, oh, well, like, actually, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Whatever, he's out there with company. I don't care. First time I read it over, I didn't pay attention to that at all. Second time, though, is the reading that you just had, where Tamlin giving him a cough is telling Lucien to shut the fuck up about the border patrol. It's not giving a shit about the kissing.
Oh, I didn't read it that way. I actually read it as you gotta fess up to your romancing too.
Okay.
Because it says he gave a pointed cough and Lucien added, like, it makes it seem like cause and effect. The cough equals revealing the make out or whatever.
Oh, got it. Where he was like, well, you guys were doing this, I was doing his, and Tamlin's being like,
yeah. But in light of our theory, I was like, and what's with that border patrol? Like, I was thinking about that too.
So then I guess a third reading then would be that Tamlin again doesn't give two fucks about Feyre in terms of the world knowing that he's trying to court her or that they like each other or whatever. That's not his focus. It's her staying blind. And that when Lucien says, while you guys were dancing with the spirits, I was stuck on border patrol, and Tamlin coughs at him like, shut the fuck up about border patrol. And that's when Lucien lies.
To add, to, like, make it seem like he was trying to hide his little...
with some company. And, like, and then Tamlin's like, cool, good, like, thank you for pretending that you weren't doing what you were doing.
Yeah.
Like, can you stop revealing that we're still doing border patrol shit or whatever? So I just, I love that it's like cryptic enough to be like, the fuck is this cough, Tammy?
So our Lucien theory is that, which we should probably just say whenever we bring it up, but the Lucien theory is that Lucien or Lucien and Tamlin are intentionally going behind Amarantha's back in the first book to try and have a military strategy against her, and they stop doing that because Feyre lands on their, Feyre comes into the picture. But this came from, like, our discussions of their conversations and trying to think, like, what are you talking about? What is that in reference to? And trying to read between the lines. And we have come to this somewhat more and more, but, we have evidence for it. More and more evidence as we go. But it's not like it's kind of unhinged, but it's kind of like being more and more supported.
And I don't know what it does for the story going forward to know that they were already, but yeah, the theory is that starting on page 1, that Lucien and Tamlin, to some extent, have already been in long-standing discussions with Hybern before Feyre even shoots that wolf. That their discussion is that there's no way that we can do this, and we need allies to fight Amarantha, and so Lucien, that's our Lucien theory, Lucien's the one who proposes, well, Hybern fucking hates her too, enemy of my enemy, let's go make friends. And Tamlin is reluctant, because he knows who Hybern is. He knows what he's dealing with, right? That was who his father allied with, and he doesn't want it, blah, 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 whatever else. And that there's some reluctance, and that as a last-ditch effort to not indulge or not, go ahead with Lucien's idea of allying with Hybern, that's when he sends out one more time Andress. Because he had already said, oh, I sent out all these sentries and they died, or they didn't, or they came back or they didn't come back, and yada yada, and nothing ever happened of it, and it was like an old person or a dude who always killed him, and blah blah blah. And so he stopped sending his people to be slaughtered until, on a whim, or because the deadline was closing in, he said, fine, go one more time. And that's when Feyre happened. And so, so our theory is that Lucien is the one who has been sort of pushing for a Hybern alliance, and that perhaps the events of book 2, right, where Ianthe is the one who has been in these, like, secret cahoots and is the one who kidnaps the sisters and takes them to Hybern and does all the things, that Lucien may have had a stronger hand in that. or that something pains, right? We haven't gotten to those chapters.
I
But the
still think
idea,
Andy is the fucker that did the sisters part, but
sure.
yes, Lucien started it. Which that's actually why I think we started talking about this initially. Well, because we were trying to figure out the conversations, but also because supposedly, unless something happens, ACOTAR 6 will be Lucian's books. So I think that's a
Yeah.
lot of why we were talking about it so much too, because
Yeah.
that should probably inform his perspective.
Could you imagine if Lucien is just, you know what? I just thought of the most unhinged thing that she could possibly do with book 6.
Oh god.
Lucien is in the mortal realm right now, hanging out with his mate's ex-fiance.
Yeah.
Okay. What if we have a Tower of Terror moment?
I don't know, that's that.
Throne of Glass. I call it Tower of Terror because I can't remember what
Oh.
it's, Tower of Dawn or whatever the fuck it's called.
Okay.
What if we have a moment where like the whole book 6 is like
lined up to Akawar?
no, is that like book 6 is like he's over here, I don't know, so I'm gonna bang it around with maybe it's an Asriel centered book, and Lucian's gone the entire book.
I'll be pissed.
And then we get ACOTAR 7,
When that's
which is Lucian's time in the mortal realms at the simultaneous moment to books. Could you imagine how fucking pissed people would be? They'd be like,
no.
we gotta tandem read some shit again? But that would make sense why she said drafts. Drafts are first draft. Could you imagine? And the setups then, that's our Lucien theory. You know,
I asked Kill because also he hated Tower of Dodds.
Yeah, that's why I call it Tower of Terror. Everybody fucking hates it. I enjoyed it, but that's because I tandem read it. But yeah.
Yeah.
But like, could you imagine if that was how that's gonna be? And she's just like, yeah.
No, it has to be a Crescent City book at the same time. But that's crazy.
Or it's not, because she said that the next book that's on the airplane line or whatever the fuck she called it was ACOTAR 6, and then she goes
story.
But then the book I'm writing after ACOTAR 6 is a story that I have been thinking about for a long time, and it's with characters that it's going to be an emotional book, and it's characters that I really am excited to see how their story continues. It's a Throne of Glass book. Or it's ACOTAR 6 and 7 tandem read.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. And also,
riots in the streets of wherever book riots happen.
Yeah, in the shelves. We'll ride in the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Also, now thinking of ACOTAR compared to Throne of Glass, it does not feel like we're at Queen of Shadows. It just doesn't at all. It feels like we're like maybe at Era Fire territory in terms of tension, in terms of what's happening in the world. If anything, we've just had our like kind of main and I guess Koshay's there and like other human queens.
So we have I think it's like Arabin's dead.
That's like Hybern.
Yeah. Okay, so Arabin's dead, and that's Hybern. And then we get to
Brialin, and that's the king? I mean, it doesn't have to be 1-to-1, but
no, but I think
it doesn't
you're
feel
right.
like tense like a sixth book should.
I feel like what I need to do is just go and fucking bite the bullet and buy the physical copies so that I can try to remember what's in each book, as opposed to the story collectively, because I read it collectively on Kindle.
Oh, well, Queen of Shadows ends with the king dying. Empire Storm ends with her getting taken captive. Tower of Dawn.
Got it. Yeah. This feels.
It feels like it's not anywhere near as tense as Queen of Shadows. Like when she's there with Kale and they've reunited and she sees Rowan.
No.
That feels like things are picking up.
Queen of Shadows is the second to last book, right?
Third to last. It's Queen of Shadows, Empire Storms, Tower of Dawn, Kingdom of Ash. And I'm just thinking, like, pacing wise, how many books could there be? And also, how are we kind of, because you know what, Nessa's book feels like kind of not. It feels like resolved, or like there doesn't feel like there's enough tension left, the way that there was in Throne of Glass, which I'm just now thinking about for some reason. I'm like, Usually in a series you want to be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. But it doesn't follow the same way though too, because like the idea with ACOTAR is that you get trilogies, right? That the main three is Feyre and Rhys sort of story. It gets buttoned up, then you get a hard shift in tone, literally POV
In the
tone in
novella.
the novella, and then the idea is that you're going to get
Is it 3 more books? It's a second
the
trilogy?
I think, but I don't think it's a Nesta thing. I think it was like Feyre is 3, you have a break, and then I think it was supposed to be 3 more books, and it was going to be like a Nesta, an Elaine, and then a wrap up. Can't imagine it having 3 Nesta books and 3
No,
Elaine
no, no,
books.
no. I don't mean that.
No.
I mean like a trilogy of like I guess 2 trilogies and a novella together.
I
Would
think
be,
it's supposed to be 2 trilogies and a novella together.
interesting. So maybe it's fine. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Oh, right, because that's in the first 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so then, yeah, I guess we would supposed to be on like a Queen of Shadows moment.
yeah, but it doesn't have to. Not every series has to be paced the same.
Oh, there's two. Sorry, there's 2 hard
Is
textual
that the first one?
pieces of evidence in this chapter.
Okay, yeah, because
That is
okay,
not the first one. But there is like a hard textual piece of evidence for the Hybern theory, and there is a huge fucking foreshadow moment. Possible foreshadow moment. Huge
okay,
in this chapter with
okay.
Lucien.
I'm wondering if you'll see the same things as me.
Yeah.
So, okay, okay. So, do you think anything more besides we were trying to figure out what Tamlin meant or didn't meant, or was trying to cover up? But so we're just noting that he's on board show. Do you have anything else there?
No, and I'm just noting that there's 3 different we had 3 different reads of one
Uh huh.
sentence.
Uh huh.
Yeah. Okay. But no, I don't have
Okay.
anything until the next page.
Okay. One thing this is not really as much of the plot, but I just thought it was so weird that she's talking to Tamlin about their kisses right in front of Lucien. She's like,
Mhm. She doesn't. They have gotten to the point. I feel like they've gotten to the point between her and Lucien where they're like little besties, and they just
I mean,
don't give a
I
shit
guess, but I
about
just
what
was
they
like,
share in
this
front
is
of each
weird. If
other.
anything, maybe she gets up and she whispers in Tamlin's ear. That's, but I'm just like, you're just gonna, it's just,
But she doesn't say anything. She
she
actually
says,
doesn't say
you
anything.
bit my neck on fire night.
They smell it on her.
I guess under my breath.
Yeah, because so he looks at her, right? So rumor had it you didn't come back until after dawn. And Tamlin glances at her and is like looking at her to see if there's any regret or
Hmm.
fear, right? And so she compares that, she's like, that's ridiculous. But even still, she compares it to on Fire Night, where she's like, you bit my neck on Fire Night, and I still came to breakfast the next day. Like, I wasn't intimidated or fearful
Hmm.
or regretful then. You think a few kisses is gonna be any different? Like,
Yeah.
I'm
And I
not
get
a
it's just,
bitch.
it's meant to build like flirty tension. But
And she's and yeah, and she's
I mean, I guess
playing a
it's
little
under her
bit,
breath, but
right?
I'm just like,
But
it feels like you're sitting. I just would never say that to like, it just feels like hard, like intense flirting, right? And you're like making someone feel like a third wheel, I guess, which she does tease her about.
I think Tamlin makes
Mm.
it feel like that though. I don't think that she does.
Yeah.
I think that Lucien opens the door and is like, rumor has it you guys didn't get back until late. And then, like, Tamlin has this silent moment that maybe Lucien sees, maybe he doesn't. And then she's like, you bit my neck on fire now. You think I can't, after that, like a few kisses or nothing? It's not that serious. And so she's being dismissive of this. The rumors had it you were out all night, because that implies
Yeah.
that they like did way more. Where she's like, a
Hmm.
few kisses or nothing. It's not that serious. And like downplaying the quote rumors. And then Tamlin's the one that takes it into an inappropriate place where he's just like,
Looks at her
nothing.
lips,
And
and he's like
looking
laying
at her
the table at
fucking
her.
lips
Yeah.
and shit. And she's even like, yeah, nothing. And then he's the one who like is doing the whole like, are you sure? And being sexy and whatever else. And then that's what like, but all of those thoughts are in her head afterwards. The
I
problem is they
know.
can
I was
fucking
like,
smell her.
Lucian's definitely like. Also, you know what's funny? All these, books where Faye can smell arousal. Like, it's never. We get Reese's salt and blah 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 constantly, but what does it smell like? Is it just smell like fucking cum? I mean, I guess, but like that's crazy too. Why are we just?
Yeah. Like, what do pheromones smell like? What do human pheromones
Like, I'm
smell
surprised
like to a
they
fae?
don't
First
describe
off,
it, like, ever.
you're like, well, yeah, because no one wants to
But they
describe what
but they
coochie
love to
smells
talk
like.
about the folds.
And the ribbons that are
They
expelled.
talk about ribbons being expelled. I know
He
she says wear
not
your
in this
nightgown
one.
to
No, he's
ribbons,
not. He
but in other ones.
no. So a common descriptor of
No.
male ejaculant is ribbons. Ribbons. I'm gonna send you a book with ribbons. And then he spilled ribbons of warmth.
I was, yeah. Anyway, uh, but yeah, I
Yep.
just was like,
So I did write, like, I don't think that we've ever had it explicitly stated in the ACOTAR book so that you can smell arousal the same way that we have it in Crescent City. Crescent City, very clear that that's what
hey,
it
yeah, I
does.
thought
I
it
think we can,
was confirmed here.
I don't think it is.
Am I insane? Wait, I really thought that in
I
all
don't think
three
we
series,
ever.
all three worlds, you could definitely 100% smell it.
I don't know that to be true.
Oh,
I know it's really explicit in Crescent
yes,
City because
the rune thing.
Bryce gets all fucking, yeah, and Rune's like, fucking really? Can you stop? That's so disgusting. My thanks, sister, who is 60 years younger than me, by the way. But yeah, and I don't know that like Throne of Glass has that stated, because I mean it might once she meets Rowan and she's just like, oh, their face smelling and their face sight and their face hearing, and I can't keep anything fucking secret from these shits. But I don't think it's ever explicit in this.
Someone on Reddit is saying that Nesta has smelled Cassian's arousal once.
I'm sure they do, but I just don't know if there's any.
I just assumed that. I think I.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna find textual evidence, or not. I just want to know because yeah.
because I do know that they talk about like hearing the changes in heartbeat and
Yes.
like I'm sure like warmth, like changes in touch, changes in warmth, things like that. I don't know that we'll get that kind of textual evidence for sure until we get to book 2 when things are a little bit
When she, yeah,
hotter.
yeah, okay, and yeah.
But even still, could you imagine trying to have your breakfast and then all of a sudden the room just smells like fucking hot sex? And you're not engaged in that, nor are you trying to be engaged in that, and either the people who are making the room smell like hot sex.
Yeah.
This also sounds like Azriel, though, where Azriel has to also
It
eat breakfast
does.
at a
See, I thought
table
he was smelling
that
it too.
Nesta
Like he
just,
was smelling the.
yeah, he for
Yeah.
sure is, because he says it's not. He's like, oh, that's what it is. It's because when Rhys comes up to the House of Wind, he says, "What have you guys been doing in here?" Because he's like, "Whatever you've been doing in here fucking stinks."
So gross.
So so they definitely can smell arousal. Okay, yes, it's been
Okay.
confirmed. Because I remember it's like a whole chapter where he's like having this full conversation. He's in the House of Wind. He's come up after a while. We've got lots of sex chapters. I think all the things, and he's just like super serious doing the Rhys thing, and then out of nowhere, like at the end of it, you're just like, "Can you open a window? Because whatever you're doing in here is fucking
Jesus
gnar."
Christ.
Okay, you're supposed to be teaching her how to fight and not be a drunk. What is happening?
Hey,
And Azriel's just like,
fucking is not doing those things. Yeah. It's
he's,
keeping her
yeah,
away from
yeah,
the
yeah.
alcohol. Okay, and then I was wondering. My next thing is wondering who Lucian's contact is. Maybe it's just like he has a contact at every court and it doesn't matter. But I don't know. I was curious
Mm-hmm.
about it, but I don't think we know Winter Court very well. So it's
No.
probably just like a nothing line. And then I was also wondering how are letters delivered? Like, is this like
Who
what is how do they have birds? Like, do they have
is Winter? Is Winter Court the second court to get a High Lady though?
No, you thought this a couple episodes ago too, and I was like, I don't think so. Collius's wife, I forgot what her name is, something with a V, Vivian,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always remember Collius's name and not his wife's, but anyway, she hears that Feyre's a High Lady, and she goes, "I want to do that," but I don't think that she actually becomes one.
at the end of the book, they talk about
they get married.
There's a moment where
I think let's call his wife High Lady Vivienne. Yeah, it seems like no. I think the reveal is that after Under the Mountain, she got married to Collius finally, and she had been like not doing that for a long time. But yeah, Feyre is the only High Lady.
I thought that there was a moment at the end of after the War of Hybern where there's some mention about her becoming a High Lady.
I don't remember that.
Callius and Vivienne, though, they're mates, right? Yes,
okay.
they're mated. Sorry. Which is, I think they're the only other
mated. No, Baron.
That are
no.
He's not mated to her. Are you kidding me?
She's mated to Helion.
You think she's mated?
I think she
to
is.
Helion? I don't think she's mated to him. I think they just had an affair.
Okay, not confirmed mates as far as I can tell on a quick Google. Yeah. So Thassan Peregrine. No, yeah. Who are the other people? So spring, autumn, day, dawn. Yeah, nobody else has a mating bond.
Okay.
Rhys's parents did, and Tamlin's parents did.
Yes, so it says that Vivienne is his mate and his wife.
Okay.
That he'd been in love with her his whole life, but he never told anyone because he was afraid that Amarantha would use her against him. And he like protects her under the mountain, and that's why when they come out from under the mountain, they're able to be married.
Okay.
It says according to Vivienne, the mating bond only snapped while they were intimate. I want to see a reference for, but okay.
It would be in Moore's conversation with her at the High Lords meeting, probably.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Anyway, no, it's okay.
Weird side quest.
We've been on lots of side quests tonight. It's okay. Yeah. I don't think we know how letters are delivered. Yeah, I don't think it matters how letters are delivered, but I was wondering because I was like logistics, and I'm a weirdo about that because they don't ever mention birds or like some kind of communication system besides winnowing.
Yeah.
So does that mean somebody? But also that does make me wonder. See, this is why I'm a nerd. Okay, it does make me wonder because I'm like Amarantha's got a lot of controls. She's got people like if Winter, like how are people getting these messages to each other?
Wait a second. Everybody's under the mountain.
That's what I'm saying. Like how
she didn't go to Winter Court and kill younglings. She killed
that were
younglings
already there
under the mountain from Winter
So yeah,
Court.
who is he getting this message from?
He's getting it from the passage that he told the ACOTAR to stop using.
He's running the risk of going into the passage himself?
Yeah, I think that's why he keeps telling him, stop using it. It's not a fucking highway for you, bud. And that Lucien is using it. You think there's not spies under the mountain who are going to get Lucien noticed like letters and know things?
But I just think that's a crazy risk. But I guess the Winter Court in general.
Also, we do see how notes can be passed.
We do. Oh, with the secret. Yeah, like with Rhys and Feyre and their notes.
Yeah.
Lucien said he was able to get a letter to him, so you'd think he wouldn't say it like that if they had some standing kind of note, enchanted note like that. It would just be like my person told me to this morning, or you know what I mean. So it makes it seem like he doesn't often contact this person. But then I'm also like, did Lucien have a hand in trying to help Winter escape? Because the reason the younglings were killed, we eventually learn, is because they were caught trying to escape. So maybe Lucien was helping them?
Maybe. I mean, Lucien seems like he's going to do something like that more than Tamlin would.
Yeah.
But here is my first piece of evidence for some seriously intense fucking foreshadowing of Lucien being a fucking problematic character, and I don't like it. Lucien took a steady breath, and I wondered if being emissary also meant being spymaster. Good question. Because now he is in the inner circle, and now he's in the human lands with Jurian.
Yeah. I don't think it'll make it problematic though, but I guess.
It could make it problematic if we think, again, I have not been able to find the actual quote from SJM, but if we think that the rumors of there being a betrayal to
is
the
his
inner court
betrayal.
is a real thing that's going to happen in book 6. Yeah, that's this. I mean, but it sets it up, right? Even she asks, could it also mean spymaster? Could you imagine if fucking 6 books later we find out that Lucien is a spymaster? But what if he's not a spymaster for Tamlin?
Well, I feel like Rhys maybe would have. Oh, that's. I feel like Rhys would have figured it out a little bit, at least.
Yes, but Rhys may not say anything if Lucien is a spymaster for Helion.
No, I don't think he knows about his connection.
You don't think he knows? Could you imagine if he, like, could you know how, like, I don't know if it would be anticlimactic or really, really cool if they, like, tried to bring the information to Lucien and Lucien's just like, yeah, no shit.
No, well, it'll be good if it's well written. That's literally, but yeah, so that could be interesting.
So then here is my, I just had a thought. Is Lucien the Adian of this series?
I mean, I think by daddy reveal alone, he kind of is. But he's also kind of like this character that's got a lot of credit with a lot of different people. I don't know.
People kind of love him and hate
Well,
him.
I'd say Cassian's probably closer to an Helion because in terms of like reputation, like but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have to see. But
Yeah, but people love Cassian, and Adian is a
oh, in terms
polarizing
of yeah,
character.
but in terms of their
Yeah,
role within
yeah.
the story,
Their
like
role, yeah, that's fair.
Aedion's like right hand.
But yeah, so I just I have big circles around
Yeah, well,
Spymaster,
and
and
also she is drawing our attention to it as well because she doesn't just slip it in like maybe he's a spy master. She then says, "I wondered, M dash wondered if being emissary also meant sorry being spy master, and wondered why he was bothering to say this in my presence at all." To me, that goes readers pay attention because like
yeah,
we were talking about
yeah,
the cough and Tamlin saying don't tell her about border
hmm
patrol and if this
hmm
is a cover, and so yeah, like maybe
especially because the way that he is telling her what's going on with Amarantha in the veiled way is like he's giving her as much information as they can with whatever curse doesn't allow them to tell her what's happening
mhm.
or whatever. Um, but yeah, like why are you bothering to say this in her presence?
It
Yeah,
seemed
good
it's
question.
because to me, that's what I would put in there if I want to be a writer and I want to say, here's your little hint, a little breadcrumb.
Mhm.
And also, I will say I noticed that Lucien in this chapter has been characterized as a fox. Like we know he has a fox mask, but it doesn't really get brought up very often, and it's brought up 3 times. I think Fox. Rhys says
Yep.
you got a fox mask when he first sees him. He calls him Fox Boy later, and Feyre calls him
Yeah.
the fairy she refers to him as like the fairy with the fox mask
Uh,
fairy, which is weird. I'm like,
yeah.
he's like this guy you've been hanging out with that you seem like you're pretty chummy with, and you're
He's
uh,
Lucian. He's Lucian. He's not a fox masked fairy.
well, to me that read actually how it used to annoy me in Assassin's Blade, and she go the Adolin's assassin did this, and I was like, why are you saying it like this? And then I just realized it's just like a style thing, so maybe it's like that. But
Yeah.
I was like, you're drawing Lucian and Fox a lot in this chapter, way more than usual.
Yeah, I read there's a when he says that's appropriate, I write why?
I
Because
know. I
he
want to know the
like
backstory to that.
what does that mean? Is it cunning? Is it the trickster?
Oh,
Is
I
it a
speak.
spy? Is it, like
I know something you did.
there's so many fox myths and legends and archetypes, and I'm like, which one?
Well, they're all like trickster, right?
Which
Kind of.
but they're all, yes, but they're like there's the like thief
Yeah.
trickster, and then there's like
Hero,
it's
evil.
just
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
yeah, there's like it's different stuff, and like some of them there's like the thief trickster, there's like a spy type trickster where it's like stealing knowledge, like I don't know, it's there's just a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah,
But
the,
yeah,
the bothering to tell me is really interesting. Um, and
although I'm sure that if I like overlapped Prithian with the UK and figure out where the fucking Autumn Court falls and then looked up the fox myths of that location, I'm sure I could come up with a theory about what the fuck that line means.
okay, there's your homework.
Homework. Homework. Go ahead.
Okay, so then you see like, the subtle nod to Rhys. It's like them telling each other Rhys is doing the thing, then broke into their
Mhm.
minds. Um
Yep.
and yeah, I do think I also think it's interesting. Feyre immediately kind of understands like the grief with the children. Um
Mhm.
which they kind of don't really pay attention to as much. But yeah, I didn't really have anything about the situation. We know later, and this is when we hear about it, and but I didn't like have any specific thoughts about it, but it is very sad.
The only thought that I had, I underlined all the things. It's something that I need to come back to. But and like I kind of wanted to read this chapter and then pull up 55
Mm,
and read those like right next to each other, which could be kind of a cool thing to do. But and that was more when Rhys gets into it as opposed to
yeah.
this here. The only thing that kind of caught me off guard, and maybe I'm just living in like a post-COVID world, but where it's like the blight
Yes.
can truly kill people, younglings. It had killed children, and you're like, what do you mean it killed just children? It's a blight. It should be killing everybody. It's a disease. It's an illness. It's a non-sentient
Why is it targeting
form,
things?
but it only killed. Yeah, you're like, oh, so is this like
A children's
whooping
disease?
cough?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, is this what it like, is it only affecting younglings because they're more vulnerable? Or is their immune system something? Like, I feel like there's human questions to be asked here, and that the way that it's being told in hindsight is very fucking clear he's talking about a person as opposed to a quote, like a sort of illness, which is what she thinks that there's some sort of like magic blight. Blight just means like
If anything, I think of it as like a crop disease more than I think that's what it's
yeah,
putting
yeah, it's like
it
a
for.
famine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
famine.
Um but he's probably not that
Unbarren
concerned with
kind of thing.
upholding that ruse as much as just, I don't know. But yeah.
But I can imagine that like the thought of 24 younglings dying is what's more in the like priority
Exactly.
thought for her, as opposed to being like, wait, why is it only children?
It's
What,
like a
that's
weird
weird.
slip up, yeah.
But as the reader, now knowing what it is, it seems like a you didn't question that. You didn't want to be like, why is only the young people die? So you're good then, right? We don't have to worry about you. We just got to keep. You guys aren't having babies anyways. So like, this is gonna go away at some point.
Yeah, and then the next I don't have anything until it's I just thought it was funny that when so they hear Rhys and Rhys is coming, we don't know who he is yet.
Hmm.
And he says to get Feyre by the windows, and she grabs a knife, and I just goes, we're right back to square one with Feyre. She's trying to defend herself
Yeah.
against fairies with like a butter knife. Or probably like a steak
Yeah.
knife, but it's
Yeah.
still just kind of funny.
Hmm.
And then she realizes the glamour. But yeah, I didn't yeah.
I noticed that the house had gone silent, but it wasn't like the same sort of like pregnant silence of Fire Night
Hmm.
or when the Naga are there or something. But like there's I don't know, I didn't write anything next to it, but I circled like when Rhys is entering into a space, things go
Yeah.
quiet.
And it definitely adds to the tension
Um
really well there. It feels kind
well,
of
and it's
cinematic.
supposed to speak to well, and I think it's all yes, I think it's also supposed to give us that hint because the only other times that things have gone silent are when she's in the presence of some sort of
Hmm.
danger. But if we're thinking about it as not being actually dangerous, then like what is it about his presence that is sort of sucking the sound out of the room? And it's, maybe the weight of an unanswered mating call. But
Well,
anyways,
and it could also just be that everyone else, he is their enemy. Like, at least their perceived enemy.
yeah.
But yeah.
So it's gone silent. Get Feyre to the window by the curtains. Tamlin growled to Lucien, not taking his eyes off the open door. Lucien's hands gripped my elbow, dragging me out of the chair. What? I started, but Tamlin growled again, the sound echoing through the room. I snatched a knife off the table, and he led me to the window, and he pushed me against the velvet drapes. I wanted to ask why he didn't bother hiding me Sorry. Yeah. I wanted to ask why he didn't bother hiding me behind them, but the Fox Master just presses back to me, pinning me between. Okay, so she's not behind the curtains, and that's when she feels the tang of the magic, which is the
Hmm.
glamour. But I think it could kind of be read that maybe this tang of magic that is being shoved up her nose is Rhys's presence.
Oh. Hmm.
Could we read it like that?
Well, I think because it comes as an answer to why he's not why she's being behind the
Yeah.
curtains, because she realizes, oh, magic is doing the hiding, and I really I need to just be a presence,
Yeah,
that
okay.
Lucien's presence can
I
cover.
think I wrote it
Yeah.
before because it says, right, the tang of magic went up my nostrils, and then it says, right, the line and a half down, magic, a glamour. So I was like, all right, well, maybe it's not Rhys, but I just thought that it could have
Yeah.
been. Or
That no,
sensing, or
that is an
anyway.
interesting moment though, because she does. There's a lot of tells actually. I'm kind of surprised that people don't read this and go, she likes him, because
Yeah.
she very much likes him in this chapter. Um,
Yeah.
and then that's where we get the fox mask fairy. Do you have anything else on that? I just thought it was so weird that
Mhm.
she characterized him like that. But maybe it's just a drive home that he's gonna hide her, and maybe he's good at hiding or something.
Yeah, the only other thing I did was I underlined someone awful enough to frighten them, and again, just these like hints at what we're supposed to think of Rhys,
Yeah,
but also noting that like there's a level of fear that Rhys has instilled in the Spring Court.
definitely. Yeah,
Good to good to know that
the
that's there.
reputation. And I just love how his first depiction is even scrolling casual. It's very, you get such a sense for him right away.
Yes. It is a gif. This is like if you could just take a page and make it right
hmm
into a scene that you would see, like, this is the perfect gif. It's him walking in with his tendrils of
hmm
fucking shadows and his purpley eyes and being all casual and cocky as fuck and just being like, "Hi, Lord."
Yeah, it's
Being like,
similar
"Yeah."
to probably one of the only other times he seems very scary, which is in Mist and Fury, when he's walking into the night court and he's trying to like screw everyone over, and also or he's just trying to be scary guy. Yeah, it's a classic Rhys moment. And Tamlin trying to seem cool and his, cleaning his nails.
Mhm. Which is a very Rhys thing to do.
Yeah, it's almost like he's imitating him. um
Well, Rhys says that he taught him everything he
yeah,
knows.
and Rhys even mentions like, you you're doing this and this, you're so boring as a high lord. And I'm like, oh, maybe he hasn't seen him since he's been, well, yeah, maybe he hasn't seen him since he's been a high lord, but also, I don't know, it just makes me want to know more about Rhys and Tamlin's relationship and what they used to
Mhm.
do. um okay, let's just really quick read his entrance, because it's just so iconic. And then he appeared, no mask. He, like the ACOTAR, belonged to something else, someone else. And worse, I'd met it before. He saved me from those three fairies on Fire Night. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a really interesting, we get a little description of what he looks like. Okay. The next thing I had was, she said she never dared to paint him, right around there. Like, can you imagine if
Yeah.
she had? Tamlin just comes into the gallery and he looks over and he
Like,
goes,
what the
"How do
fuck?
you know
Why you
that
got
guy?"
a picture? Right? Why you got a picture of Reese?
What, can you imagine if she goes, "I saw him in a dream and I just wanted to paint him."
Well, you see, when you were fucking that bitch, I almost got attacked.
I know, she could like tell him the truth. I met him at Fire Night, or she could like, she like lies and she says, "I just saw him in my head." It's crazy.
But yeah, no, yeah, it would be wild. Although I wonder if he's seen her ACOTAR picture.
Yeah.
You know he does not go in that
Why
room.
not?
She could paint she can paint a picture of her own goddamn labias and he would have never fucking seen it until he went in there the one time to try to show her that she was cute, and he took the gray picture because he didn't want her nasty ass picture of whatever else she was trying to give him. And yeah, no. He's like, I'm good.
Crazy.
I don't need to see your art. It sucks.
Yeah, maybe
I've seen
he
like
wouldn't have recognized Rhys anyway. He'd be like, "What's this stick figure with black hair?"
It wasn't so much a rendering as it was an abstract. Is this a picture of a tornado? Shadow tornado? What is happening here?
It's
Yep.
funny. I do also think it's funny that she
That's so much of it.
immediately characterizes this, like, these are huge tells. His smile, heartbreaking in its beauty. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, I'm those to me, those scream like, this is your true love. Like, now that,
Yes.
obviously hindsight, I guess maybe it seems sad that someone so pretty is evil. And like, a lot of times people do use beauty as like a villain's quality. Like, that's part of their danger,
Yeah.
is that they're like, that's like the thing with vampires, right? And the kind of fae, is that their
Yeah.
beauty is supposed to
Yeah.
like make their prey, or their um
Yeah.
yeah, their prey not feel so scared. But so I guess it's
Mhm.
kind of creepy in that sense, but I was like, she's in love with him.
She at least thinks he's
Hot. Yeah.
smoking
Yeah.
hot. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
So, and I don't see you in 49 years and you start calling me Rhysand. Only my prisoners and my enemies call me that. Now, one, I'm like, you really haven't seen him in
That's what I was
49
wondering. I was
years?
like, and is that when they became High Lords, or maybe not? Like,
I don't I think it was
it was
before I
before
think
that.
it was before then,
Okay.
but I don't
Oh,
know
he
that for
saw him
sure cuz she does.
at the party when they drank the punch. Then
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. But here's my question that I want to start tracking. He says, "Only my prisoners and my enemies call me that. Call me Rhysand." I want to start clocking what Amarantha calls him.
Yeah.
Because everyone under the mountain calls him Rhysand. Nobody calls him Rhys.
Hmm.
I don't think
Yeah,
anybody
and
under the
so to
mountain
weirdly
calls him
call
Rhys.
attention to that is kind of. I mean, it probably just seems like an offhand, whatever. But um,
But I think that that could be one of those tells where, like, if we look back at it and we start looking, he's like, only my
and
enemies call me
everyone calls him
Rhysand.
Resand.
And or even that Amarantha constantly refers to him as Rhysand. You're like, oh shit, it was here the whole time.
Yeah,
Like
I love
that's
those kinds of things. They're
brilliant
very
to do that.
subtle. Um,
Yeah. So I did put like pay attention to what she calls
mhm.
him.
Did you think it's weird also how, let's see, she randomly compares him to Tamlin. He said,
Hmm.
something in his countenance, this is bottom third of 234. Something in his countenance turned
Hmm.
feral and deadly, more so than I'd ever seen Tamlin look. It just seemed like a
Yeah.
strange random comparison. Like, why couldn't she just say that he looked deadly? Except for maybe that
Hmm.
she often, as a way of talking about her attraction, talks about men as scary. So maybe that's another tell, is that he's much more than
That
Tamlin. But I just was like, why that? Why write that comparison? That's random as hell.
Well, that or she's already making comparisons, and then we find out that he's also a High
Okay,
Lord, and so maybe there's some sort of like as something about him that kind of triggers that
he's
sense of
mhm.
this is someone who could be compared to Tamlin,
Okay.
and that somehow she has that like uh um intuition, which could be kind of interesting. That's not what's necessarily
Yeah.
here, but that's an
Well, I was just
interesting
thinking as a
reading.
writer, like, why put that
I
in
do
there? Yeah, but yeah, that's an interesting.
I think it's supposed to also show us one of two things. One, that he's absolutely the bad guy and that Tamlin is supposed to be a good guy.
Mhm.
I think that that's what we're supposed to
Yeah.
get, which I think hitting it as hard as she does here to trick us in the next book is kind of genius. Or two, I think it's a foreshadow of letting us know that Rhysand is more powerful
Yes, yeah.
than Tamlin, and that he's not just more powerful because of his proximity and his role to Amarantha as being a veiled ally, but because he is just more
Mhm.
powerful.
Which I desperately wanted. I want a measuring system for power, and I wanna know exactly how
Yeah.
they know he is the most powerful High Lord of all time, but yes. Um,
Hmm. Yeah, I wrote my next thing is a fox mask appropriate for you,
yeah, and
Lucien.
that really screams of, like, a personal story, like, "Last time I talked to you, you were
Yeah,
doing this," which probably the last time he saw Lucian was when Amarantha carved his eye out, but he wasn't being tricky.
yeah,
He was back-talking her.
yeah,
Like, that's not
yeah.
tricky, so I go, "What's the backstory there? Is does he
Hmm.
know does he remember? Or is it just because he left Autumn Court and, like, went to Spring and they think that's, like, a snake move?" I don't know, but I didn't really have anything, but I just thought it was very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's also like the first thing that he says. I guess he hasn't seen him in 49 years, so maybe
Mhm.
that's why he says it like that. I assume he's hasn't seen. Well, no, he has seen him. Whatever. Anyway, that's he saw him whenever he got his eye carved out. So it has not been as long.
Yeah.
He's already seen his mask. No, no. People wear the masks because do people wear the mask because Lucian got his eye carved out and Amarantha was trying to apologize?
No, they wore the masks because it was a
And Tamlin's
ball.
shape-shifting abilities?
That's what it was.
But now
Tamlin's
that I'm
shape-shifting
thinking,
abilities.
maybe it was also but how did she
Which
carve out
also,
his
by the
eye
way,
through the mask? Did she just stick it through the eye hole, I guess? But it makes it seem like he's
it
a
was
big slit.
before. I think it was
Okay, so it
before.
was before.
So the eye comes out first, and then she tricks everybody and has a ball and steals power.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, I'm just trying to think about when the last time um that Rhys saw Lucian. Anyway, so
Mhm.
Um, because yeah, he's probably seen the fox mask since, but maybe not. Or maybe yeah, maybe he hasn't seen him. And
Well, if he hasn't seen him in 49 years, then that means the ball was 49
Which we
years
know it
ago, and
was,
so he
yeah.
wouldn't have seen. Yeah, and so he wouldn't have necessarily made note of that or seen Lucien or been able to say, "That's
Mhm.
appropriate. Good job." Like, and to be kind of a dick
Yeah. So,
mode
yeah, maybe it's just the
at
first
the
time he's
ball
seen
or
him in
whatever,
49 years, so, um
which is wild, but yeah, because he was out at Calanmai. So what else was he doing at Calanmai? Did
oh,
he
yeah.
not
Well,
see? Did nobody else see him? Is that the first time he's been out from under the mountain, unless he's doing her bidding?
it's not the first time
And
he's
so
been
then in
out, I
40,
think, but I think it's just
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's intense, but
And we get more our kind of hell. We talked about that
yeah,
last
yeah.
or how I don't know when we talked about that. Um,
Yeah, but we also have word and urge, so it could still be hell and
True.
hell.
Yes. Um, okay. I was wondering why he says it gets interesting again. That's my next thing.
There, where?
Middle of 235, even now that things are getting interesting again at the end of his little monologue.
Ah, so we get a hint at a backstory that we don't know about between them, right? A nice reminder of the fun days, wasn't it?
Yep.
Rhys clicked his tongue and surveyed a room. So, like, that's got to be a reference to the war.
Where does it say that exactly?
So it's above what you were talking. It's the beginning of this monologue that he does that
Oh, I see it
ends
now.
with getting
Okay.
interesting again. So, like, this is definitely speaking to a past that they
Yes.
have.
Especially saying I taught him everything he knows. That's like not just we saw you we hung out once.
Yeah. Well, and so he's like, "Right, what are you doing here? I wanted to check on you. I wanted to see how you were faring when if you got my little present." So now we're talking about the
Uh-huh.
decapitated head. And he goes, "Your present was unnecessary." And he goes, "But a nice little reminder of the fun days, wasn't it?" So when were they exchanging decapitated heads to each other? In the fun days during the war when they were on opposite sides, when they were killing each other's family? Like, he's already out the gate going hard and being like, "Remember the fun times when I cut your dad's head off and you cut my sister and mom's wings off? Yeah, yeah, fun times." Is that what he's talking
Hmm.
about?
Okay, when you said when they were in the war together, I was just thinking like, oh, maybe when they were out at war with each other, they would have game where they would cut people's heads off, and
But 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 that's the thing is Tamlin was too young to really fight in the war. Rhys was not. So Rhys is fighting
but
Tamlin's
he was a
dad.
warband leader. That's they were yeah. So maybe he's
Hmm.
just referencing. Yeah,
So, like, what the fuck is the timeline, SJM? Is he fighting in the war? Is he
I
not
think he's doing
fighting in the
little
war? Were
battles or
they,
something.
have they always been enemies? If he's in a war band, if he's the leader of a war band, and Rhysand's talking about the fun times they used to have, what exchanging fucking decapitated heads?
Yeah,
Or doing enemy, not ally shit together, or were they
I
allies and they were doing that shit to somebody else?
I think they were kind
Right?
of allies. Yeah,
I taught you everything in your little war, like, what? So there's a friendship, there's
yeah.
something.
So it's
There's
some kind of battle.
there's a fucking novella,
I
SJM. Give me my
know.
novella. Give me my 242 pages of Rhysand and Tamlin. That's all I want.
Oh God,
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah. It must. It's after Hybern, but before now, they must have been fighting together somewhere
This is such a cryptic fucking sentence that, like, I get the point of it as a reader. We're not
to
supposed to, like,
establish history and iceberg and yeah,
but even here we are waiting for book 6 and I'm still like, this is cryptic as
yeah.
shit. Cuz, like, but a nice reminder of the fun days, wasn't it? He clicked his tongue and surveyed the room. Almost half a century holed up in this country estate. I don't know how you managed it, but you're such a stubborn bastard. That must have seemed like a paradise compared to under the mountain. What, being trapped in his manor is paradise to being the mountain? He's like,
Mhm.
what about it is supposed to, is Rhys saying that being in his country villa is supposed to be a worse punishment than being under the mountain?
No, I
Or
think he's
that
just
there's
calling him
better
a brat and
places?
acting like, oh, you think you had it bad. I've had it. This is much worse. I
Mm-hmm.
also think here he's trying to egg him on to like be Amarantha, or to do something
Yeah, so
because
do I.
like yeah he
So you're reading this as, like, sarcasm, like, half a century holed up in your country to state. I don't know how you managed
yes
it. Like, poor
yeah
baby.
exactly yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because he says no attempts to save yourself or your lands. Like he's trying to say, hey, get something done. You're almost
Yeah.
out of time, buddy.
I wrote next to that, like, right? What have you been doing, like, Tamlin, to try to save your people or your land? You've been doing nothing. And so I think that how we're supposed to be reading it is that he's being a dick and he's like throwing Tamlin's
Yeah,
failures in his face, which he is doing that, but he's
he's trying
doing
to
it
get some
as like
action.
a get the fuck off your ass, my dude. But I can't tell you that because I'm supposed to be allied with
Yeah,
the enemy. So I'm gotta say it in a way that makes you feel like shit about yourself, but I still want you to do it.
yeah. Okay, so what does he mean by things are getting interesting again? Because like things
Good
should be the
question.
same level of interesting for the last 50 years. It's Amarantha waiting for Tamlin to not fall in love with somebody so that she can take him captive, right? So
Mhm.
what's changing? Is it the
So maybe it's that, like, there's whatever the catalyst to her drama and her taking over and the fights that I'm sure ensued, and then her capturing high lords and her doing her shit and stealing the power, like all that
Mhm.
stuff. And then there's a lull because now she's like, well, I've made my deal and now I gotta wait out the time. So there's all of this exciting shit where she's stealing power and she's taking over and
Yeah.
shit's going wild. And now she's just kind of in control for
So
50
it's just because that
years.
curse
And
is
now that
almost
she
up.
well, yeah, because the curse is almost up, and now she can start being a fucking monster again.
Okay. I was just curious. I was just like, what is that referencing to? I mean, the younglings being killed, maybe that's what he's talking about, but I feel like even he would have a hard time, even undercover, saying interesting about something so bad.
Yeah.
Um,
I also just like Tamlin just constantly being like, "There's nothing to be done. I'm the only one who can deal
yeah.
with this. It will pass." What is that?
Eh, yeah.
It's so
And you can tell it
weird.
pisses Rhys off. Like the way that she describes him, like moving towards him, you can tell he's like,
Yeah.
"There's nothing to be done, you little shit." Like you can tell he's just so
Yeah.
mad.
Yeah.
But I also more
Hmm.
of this right there in this moment. We also see um his voice dropped into a whisper, an erotic caress of sound that brought heat to my cheeks.
Okay. Yes, but also there's a lot of sexual tension between Rhys and Tamlin in this chapter. Like, I'm just saying, like, he's constantly talking to him in an erotic caress, and he says it almost like a lover later on. Like, granted, I get,
Yeah,
like, she's supposed to be hot and bothered, and yes, that language is very much a foreshadow that, like, she clearly is into
yeah.
this guy.
But technically, he's directing that language at Tamlin. That's funny.
Yes, and that voice at Tamlin. I'm just saying, like, and it could be a
Rhys and
teasing
our
thing
by
too. Just
king.
like, I, I wish, but no, it's too much to
Uh,
ask.
but
Oh,
yeah.
Adian's kind of our
Oh
Viking.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, oh I just was thinking about like I am interested in the way that she sort of conflates danger and sexuality in a lot of these books. I think a lot of romantasy does that, or like a lot of stuff with Fae and stuff like this. And vampires too
yeah.
actually does that because it's like part of the allure, but I don't know. I've always kind of been a little bit off put by talking about, I don't know, even the purring. I just don't like love it. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, if anything, him it's like maybe he's speaking dangerously to Tamlin, but she hears it as sexuality, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
But anyway. But yeah, he is saying that to Tamlin. I also wonder, it says she brought heat to her cheeks, which is just a bodily reaction. And now I'm wondering, well, assuming they can smell it, is Lucian smelling her?
Right.
Like,
Well, she's hidden behind Lucian's smell right now, so if anybody could smell her, it could be probably only
so he's
Lucian.
like,
But
yeah, when
yeah,
Rhys was
or
yelling at you, Feyre started getting all turned off.
right. Did Rhys fuck a bunch of chicks before he came here? Because it got real thick with it in here.
Anyway, I just it's so stupid, but
Yeah.
um
I do love that well, I don't know. I think that this next sort of little statement that he makes is really, really him pushing. Like, if he was not already pushing him to do something about Amarantha, where he's like, there's no attempts to save yourself, this one is like his second strategy, where it's just like, what a pity you must have endured the brunt of it,
yes.
Tamlin. And even greater pity that you're so resigned to your fate. like, you might be stubborn, but this is pathetic. Like, now he's just at a point where he's like, cool, so I've already brought to his attention, like, there's no attempt to save yourself. Like, okay, maybe I can hint at, like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and kind of maybe even throwing something out there that's like, let's see how this is received to see if I can build trust and maybe help something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, there's nothing that can be done. And yeah, Rhys kind of pissed about it at this point. He's just like, so fucking pathetic. Are you kidding me? Like, you get to sit here in this manner for 50 years and I've been forced to be underneath her? Are you kidding me? Really on top of her, but whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, then we get how different the High Lord is from the brutal warband leader of centuries ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. This next sentence from Lucien, I don't know why it's said so that we know who Rhys is, and we know that this. Like, I get the point of this, but if this were real dialogue, Lucien sounds like the lame guy who has a really bad comeback.
Yeah, the incel
There's
friend.
intense stuff. Yes, but like there's like all of this intense, like, you're not even gonna save yourself, you sad, sorry, pathetic little bitch. Oh no, everything's about Tamlin, blah 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 blah. And then Lucian's like, well, what do you know about anything? You're Amarantha's whore.
Well,
and I was just like, this is a lame burn, Lucien. This is a really lame burn.
Okay, I didn't read it like that, but now I'm like, if you liked her so much, why didn't you marry her? Like the levels of like like
yeah.
But
yeah,
that's funny. And that's the first time we hear Rhys called that, right?
Yeah. And I get, we need to have him called that.
Yeah.
Because that's how, all the things. But it just, in the, like, just reading dialogue, it's like, Lucian's like, well, what do you know about anything? You're just Amarantha's whore. And you're like, Lucien, just fucking, you're trying to hide somebody right now. Just
shut up.
Keep your mouth shut. Shut up.
Yeah.
But if Lucien is cunning and a trickster, then he can't be that stupid. So then, why say it?
He probably is trying to piss him off, so maybe he'll leave or something.
Or he's trying to say as much as he can because he knows that Feyre's in the room.
Why would that?
Think about it. Because he might not be able to say anything about Amarantha because of if there's the curse that's stopping it or whatever, and also because of the fucking gag order that Tamlin has put on him. But if he opens up the door and Rhys is the one who starts saying things,
we discussed this in the episode that just came out.
And
this exact thing actually, and we took all this time, like 20. I cut it out, but we took like 20 minutes to find the actual evidence. Is the curse actually keeps people from saying it? Because that was the thing we talked about at the ACOTAR when if he had tried to say something about the curse directly, would he have been stopped? And then therefore would everything have been revealed that Feyre was there? Because there should be no reason he couldn't say anything about the curse in front of her.
Is this the first time we get her name though?
No.
Okay.
But yeah, so no, it's not Tamlin's gag order though. It is the curses. But then I'm like, well, good thing Rhys didn't say, "Hey, did you get a woman?" And then because imagine he like starts to say it, "Hey, did you get a?" Why can't I say that? Who the fuck's here? That could have been the other way this scene happened because I think that's what would have happened if he had tried to talk directly about it. That's what I was just thinking about actually as you were reading. I was like, this is very beating around the bush. No one's talking about the curse directly. Which is convenient, but it kind of goes, it's well done. But anyway, sorry.
This next one, this is it.
Yes, this was
this is fucking it. This is Lucien theory.
At least I haven't bided my time among the hedges and flowers while the world has gone to hell. Lucien's sword rose slightly. If you think that's all I've been doing, you'll soon learn otherwise. Yeah. So this is my.
Oh, wait. Hold on. I also didn't realize that it says if you think that's all
That's what I've been doing. That was my note.
I didn't know. I mean, I read it as we. I read it as that's all you think we've been doing. And like even then, okay, great. So like they've been doing the Hybern thing, whatever. But shit, I didn't see that it was
and that speaks to maybe he really is a spy master.
But that doesn't. that doesn't get Tamlin off the hook for this,
Oh,
though.
because Tamlin's still coordinating, but it actually helps better support our
Is
theory because
he?
maybe Lucian's been the one who's gathering Hybern, and it's Tamlin who shot it down. And
That's what
yeah,
I'm saying is, like, is Tamlin
well, Tamlin probably still allowed
oh,
it to like go. He didn't do it 100% behind Talon's back if he did it, but it still is very much like his thing, which could be very interesting for his book. But yeah, the I was like, why are you saying I? That's weird. And like, it almost like saying
yeah.
I, like, if anything, you say we to seem stronger. So saying I is a choice. Like, maybe Rhys expects him to have been doing something because maybe he's in charge of those things, but he's not. He's an emissary, as far as we know. So yeah, maybe he is really a spy master.
Yeah, what if he's a spy master? What if he knows that I
Or
don't
what
know,
if Rhys
man.
knows that he has a connection somewhere else and that's what he means by I've do it, you know? But it's a weird pronoun choice.
It also could read like he's trying to give Rhys some sort of information without Tamlin knowing.
Yeah. It, well, yeah.
Because the indictment is against Tamlin, not against
Yeah.
Lucien,
He's been doing
right?
nothing,
The
but I've
indictment
been
is
doing
at least
stuff.
I haven't yeah, at least I haven't been biding my time among the hedges and flowers while the world goes to hell. That's an indictment on Tamlin.
Mhm.
And then Lucien says, if you think that's all I've been doing, you'll soon learn otherwise. And so what if I cannot imagine a way that Lucien is a spy master for Rhys. Could you imagine if that's what it came down to? That this whole time
No,
is
no,
a
people would
fucking
be
spy
pissed. People
master?
would actually be so mad. And that would be cheap.
They would
But
be
yes.
super pissed.
Okay, but entertain it. Or
I don't know. I don't know. I
but
just yeah, this
a
is
spy master for Helion could be more interesting, or for Hybern.
I don't think he would be a spy master for Hybern. I think that he's using Hybern. He wants to do the things, but I think that his
He could be
ally,
a
I
double
think that his
agent, but
loyalty
yeah.
is to Prithian. Yeah.
I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's for Hybern actually.
What if he's a spy master for his brother? Not for his dad.
Yeah, maybe Eris like sent him there and was like, "You got to do X, Y, Z. You got to do this." That's interesting.
Eris was the one who made sure that he got
Yeah,
out.
so maybe they plan together to get the. Yeah, I like that. I like that better than Rhys and Spymaster. Mostly because we've been in Rhys's actual
Yeah, yeah.
perspective, and if that was a secret this whole time, it would just feel cheap.
Yeah, that's true.
It would be
It would.
fun, but it would just feel too cheap because you would. There's no way we should have heard about that already. Um. Okay, but so that's one of the biggest things for our theory. That's kind of I'm trying to think. Did you? Well, actually, we'll get to it when we get to it, I guess. But yeah, the I would drove me crazy. I was like, why is he saying I? That's so much
That's
in there.
wild.
And also he says you'll soon learn otherwise. And maybe he's just talking shit, but like,
Yeah.
what is soon? What does that mean? Like,
Maybe he's talking about Feyre
yeah,
too.
maybe he just is just spewing shit and he's just making it sound like he's doing stuff. Um, and oh yeah, and the next thing I had was it's funny because Timlin goes, I don't enforce rank. He's the only one
That
who
was my next one
enforces
too.
rank. Okay. Like
Yeah.
that's part of the huge central conflict in the next book is that he enforces rank
Yeah.
and he's a little bitch and he's like, don't talk to
In
me like
fact,
that.
he makes people grovel.
Yeah, like
Yeah. He turns into his father.
yes, yeah, and it's just ugh.
Because when he says I don't enforce rank in my court, and Rhysand goes, still, like you still don't do that, but it's so entertaining when they grovel. I suppose your father never bothered to show you. And so watching him do that in the second book, you're like, oh, Tamlin's
Yeah,
becoming more like his father, perhaps.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um, did you have anything else on that page? I don't have anything until he mentions his
yeah.
lover, which, by the way, was centuries ago.
I wrote that too.
So he's been in the Supreme Court for centuries. It makes it sound like he loved her, they got caught, Baron killed her, and then he goes right away to
Hmm.
Supreme Court.
Yeah,
So he's been
he
in the
did.
Supreme Court.
He
I thought he'd
did.
been in the Supreme Court for like 50 years, maybe a little more, a little less, but he's
Oh,
been
we're
there
talking
for
at least 100.
I think really it says centuries. So really like 200
I know.
minimum.
I know.
Um which I don't know, I guess it surprised me.
I mean, it makes sense though, right? Rhys is 500. Tamlin is
Like 400.
about
No, yeah, he's
at least,
no Rhys
well,
is
he's got to at least be older than
yes, yes,
500.
yes. Because the war was 500 years ago. Talon was a kid during the war, but Rhys was just barely old enough to fight in it. Or young during the war, but adult, technically. Because Rhys was definitely in the Hybern War. but Tamlin was not.
Yeah, so Rhys is over 500, Tamlin is at least 500, and then Lucien would be, if it's centuries, at least 200.
At least he's probably.
And he never says it, right? Because even when Feyre asks how old he is, he just says old.
I'd say he's probably at least 300, maybe even
But he's not, because then he's like, fuck, how old do you think I
maybe
am?
he was
When she's
conceived
like, were
during
you
the
alive
war
during
though,
the war?
because I think didn't the lady get away from Baron because Baron was off fighting the war, or maybe she was captured, or
I
Helion
think so.
rescues her or something
Something
like
like that.
So maybe he's like very close in age to Tamlin then. Okay, and then I love the description of the sunlight basically like being absorbed into Rhys's shirt, like that, that's just interesting. I didn't really have anything for it, I just noticed it. The next thing I noticed was like this horrific gentleness of him taking the knife from her hands. Because it really seems so flirty with that. But you have things before that?
No, I just wrote, like, I was slaughtering on the battlefield before you were born. Who do you think taught your beloved Tamlin the fighter aspects of swords and females?
Yeah, that
You couldn't
suggests a
truly
deep
believe he learned
relationship.
Yeah, and a friendship. You couldn't believe he learned everything in his father's little war camps, right? But also, the Spring Court has war camps the same as the Night does. So, do the Spring Court have their own version of Illyrians?
No, I think they're just regular people. I think though Illyrians are a society within the Night Court that are just war society, but I think every place has war people.
Yeah, fine.
Because the Under the Mountain Night Court, whatever they're called, they have like their something that cures whatever those
centuries and stuff.
Oh,
whatever.
Rhys wants to use, because that's why he has to do all that with cure to get his whatever he calls them.
Mm-hmm. She's already preparing for you.
Yeah, I was wondering about that too.
I said, and then I think I can safely say report that you've already been broken and will consider her offer. I'm looking forward to seeing your face when you have to be in her bed? When you realize what's really happening, Tamlin? I'm looking forward to seeing your face when you're not in this fucking beautiful little hotel of yours right now and all of us are in hell.
Is that what the last thing he was saying right before?
Uh-huh. I'm looking forward to seeing your face when you what?
When you what? That is interesting.
When you give up? He's already given up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rhys is annoyed as shit right now.
And he's just trying to rub it in his face. If anything, that's just trying to goad him. Which he does goad him into action from this. Just not very good action.
Oh, sure. Yeah, not the right action, yeah.
And yeah, the moment where he realizes Feyre was there is very it's such an iconic scene.
It's also so telling in hindsight. A flicker of excitement.
Yes.
Perhaps even disbelief.
Yes.
Because he sees her.
And he's just like, oh, fuck. Yeah.
Or it says, Rhys now faced the High Lord, and his perfect face was void of emotion even before his brows rose. So a flicker of excitement. So maybe there's something that he recognizes in her that he's like, who's here? And then it's like, oh, he gets the tingle of her. His first reaction is excitement because it's her.
And then he turns
and then disbelief, like, what the fuck is she doing here? And he's pissed.
Yes. Yeah, I think
he is
in 54 he says he was terrified when he saw her there and was like, you shouldn't be here.
And it's veiled in how dare you glamour me. Yeah. Right? Which fine, but I don't think that's why he's pissed.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's the line with the commoner lover then after that.
Yeah. Yeah, I really want to, and maybe I'll do it tomorrow, but I really want to read his monologue in 55 compared to this chapter.
Yeah, it's like a short section. In 50. 54, 55 is the fuckins.
Sorry.
How could you forget?
Right.
Just kidding.
Right. Right. I knew you like to stoop with your lovers, Lucien, but I never thought you'd actually dabble with mortal trash.
Yeah.
And then, if I were you, I'd keep your new pet well away from your father. And, like, I think that that's kind of a double there, because one, it's like, clearly he killed your last one, so I would definitely keep him away from that. But I think there's also, like, a hint of, like, more in here. Like, I can see him thinking of more in
sorry,
this
I
moment.
had to say this, like, more of what?
Yeah. You had a s'more? You had a s'more
Yes.
moment? S'more what? Yeah. No, and, like, I know he's referencing the fact that, like, Lucien's common lover was killed by his
Yeah.
father last time. But I could imagine that there's also images of more that come to his mind when he says this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely, I think so. Which is probably interesting because he probably is also like, God, I'm never gonna see them again, and like, probably brings up really complex emotions.
Also, why is he saying this like sorry, I just down towards the bottom when he's like, if you were wise, you'd be screaming and running from this place, from these people. It's a wonder you're still here, actually. And then he goes, oh, she doesn't know, does she? Rhys, you know she doesn't know. Do you not know that she doesn't know? Why can't nobody talk about the curse?
But I think he's just trying to seem like he's gonna
People,
fuck him over because yeah,
but I'm just saying, like, people of Prythian can't talk about what's happening in Prythian. They can't talk about this curse of
he
Tamlin.
can't talk about the curse
Or
in front
she
of
has.
somebody, in front of the person who's.
But how does her magic know that that's a possibility of her being? I mean, sure, fine. Magic
Yeah.
is, all things are possible. Fine. That's a cop out. How? I just don't understand the logistics of being like, everyone in Prythian can be talking about what's going on, but the curse says that the person that he might be interested in or has to try to get him to fall in love with him can't know about this. I just find that to be bullshit. I think it's Tamlin who's not saying anything. I think it's Tamlin who has the gag order.
Well, we did. We looked it up. We in the actual book.
I know, but
Yeah.
I just don't like it. I don't like
It's
it.
yeah. It could be a lame choice, but I would just assume that magic can just cover all circumstances and intentions and like
But why is Tamlin scared? Oh, she doesn't know, does
maybe
she?
he's just afraid of
All
what
Tamlin
Rhys
has
can
to say.
manipulate it. What if Rhys was just gonna say something? Maybe if I'm Tamlin, I'm go. Rhys is gonna say something like, "Don't you know that he did X? Something like." Maybe that's what he's afraid of. I don't know. I didn't think about that at all.
Just saying, if there's a curse that says that they can't talk about it, then Rhys, then what's there to be scared of? Yeah, she don't know shit.
That honestly, it could just be a plot hole. It could just be a way to build tension, and
I
yeah.
just I think it's a cop out for us thinking that Tamlin is not the one that is keeping secrets. I think that that's what it is. I think, but I'm gonna look it up again because I don't remember
Mhm.
our conversation about the curse, and
I
I
know
don't
it
like
only
it.
because I edited
I
it,
think,
so I like
yeah,
freshly.
yeah, yeah. Sure,
Okay,
sure.
I couldn't help it. I just looked up the chapter 54 because I actually had it sitting on the desk next to me. So
Yay, thank
let's
you.
let's hear what Rhys was thinking. So talks about he saw her at Fire Night, Calanmai, and then he said, "So I let you walk away. I told myself after you were gone that maybe the cauldron had been kind and not cruel for letting me see you, just once, a gift for what I was enduring. And when you were gone, I found those 3 picks." Again, he talks about that. Um, I didn't know that you were with Tamlin, that you were staying at the spring court. Amarantha sent me that day after the summer solstice because I'd been so successful on Calanmai. I was prepared to mock him, maybe pick a fight. But then I got into that room and the scent was familiar but hidden. And then I saw the plate and felt the glamour, and there you were, living in my second most enemy's house, dining with him, reeking of his scent, looking at him like you loved him.
Pause. Hold on. She let me out because I had been so successful on
Maybe
Calanmai.
finding the
The fuck
pics.
was it? No, the pigs are the ones who tried to rape her, and
And
so
he
he
like no
crushed.
oh sorry, in the part above he said he brought them back to Amarantha and confessed
Okay,
and confessed to conspiring to find other rebels that night. So he made them look like they were
okay,
rebels. Okay. Sorry.
got it.
Um
Okay, and that's why he was so
yeah.
successful. Okay, sorry, because I was like, "It's successful in what?"
And
But
so now
okay,
here's what he's thinking right now. And I decided that
yes.
I had to scare Tamlin. I had to scare you and Lucien, but mostly Tamlin, because I saw how he looked at you too. So what I did that day I broke into your mind and held it enough that you felt it, that it terrified you, hurt you. I made Tamlin beg, as Amarantha had made me beg, to show him how powerless he was to save you. And I prayed my performance was enough to get him to send you away, back to the human realm, away from Amarantha, because she was going to find you. If you broke that curse, she was going to find you and kill you. I was so selfish. I was so stupidly selfish that I couldn't walk away without knowing your name.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. It makes sense that because I was like, if he knew that she would break the curse and Amarantha would kill her and it's being all selfish and blah 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 blah, right? Then I'm like, but then still, why send her away if she can break the curse? Then like you have a fighting chat instead of Amarantha, right? And I get, oh, it's selfish. I wanted you to go home. I wanted you to be safe.
It's
Blah blah
always felt
blah.
like the most irrational thing to me to send her away.
Yes, because then he's like, why not instead of pushing Tamlin to send her away? Really root for the chance that she's going to break this thing, and that then once the curse is broken, then you can break your bonds with Amaranth and you can join forces with Tamlin and you can help
And
support
protect her.
the fucking fight against her, blah blah, whatever. Exactly. And granted, maybe he's like, yep, that's not going to happen because Tamlin's a fucking piece of shit and he's a waste of space and I'm not going to fight with him because he doesn't know how to fight. Whatever, fine. But I think it's supported in this part where he's in her mind and he says, right, that he's looking at, so right, I saw how you looked at him and that you and saw how he looked at you, and then he says, it's if it's any consolation, she would have been the one for you. You might have even gotten away with it. A bit late though, she's more stubborn than you are. So I think he notices at this point that she's not gonna break the curse,
Okay. It's not in time
and that
enough.
he's yeah, that he's like, even if she did break the curse, it would be so close to the thing that, like, I'm not going to be able to save her if she does this. And she's probably not going to do it. She's fucking stubborn as shit. So I'm going to scare the fuck out of them.
Okay.
So they send her home so
I like
that,
that because I've always thought Rhys, but I actually thought
yeah,
Rhys is just cocky.
because
He
if
thinks
he
that he can get
actually,
Amarantha out some other way. That's what I
maybe,
always
but it's
assumed, but
been,
I like that better.
maybe.
Because if he's been trapped for 50 years, he's trapped forever. Like, I don't know.
Well, and then it's like, so then maybe he does think that once he's not the one that's keeping Amarantha company and
Oh,
it's Tamlin who's being forced,
he's
maybe
like, I'll
that's, he's
figure it
like,
out
okay, I
then.
just gotta wait for Tamlin and then I can do the thing and she'll stop looking at me because she'll be obsessed with her mate, not mate
Okay, that's an interesting reading too.
person.
Okay.
So maybe that's his thing where he's like, I don't need this fucking curse bullshit because I have a plan. I just need Tamlin. I need to make sure that Tamlin is not either not going to do anything. So I'm going to tease him so that he still thinks that he's so fucking
hmm
defeated that he won't do anything. Or I'm going to tease him so that he will do something and
Yeah.
fight back. Like, I mean, there's a number of ways to
hmm
read that.
hmm
Although those invisible claws lazily caressed my mind again.
hmm I think that's a really interesting way to seem both threatening, non-threatening, and also it's just so classic Reese. Is he always doing things
And
lazily and
there's
like, it's interesting tone.
Well, but it's also like there's a longing to it. Knowing again, hindsight, there's like a longing
Totally.
to it where it's like, his talon tipped hand scraped against my mind. He's reading through. He's like, what the fuck? Because he's mad. What the fuck is she doing here? Like, and so he's in there doing his thing, whatever. Finds out that she's like falling for him, but she's never going to say it. And then kind of realizing, like, I'm terrified for her. I'm kind of pissed that she's in love with my enemy. She's in his house right now. Like, I can't do this, just made things so much more complicated
Mm.
for me. And as he's exiting her brain, he like softly
hmm
caresses her as like a I wish I could do more or
Yeah.
something, right? It's like there's a
Yeah,
softness
that's
to it.
what the line where I think it's before this where he takes the knife away from her and he approaches her. Let's see.
Oh yeah, it says that like this wouldn't do you any good
Yeah.
anyways.
It's actually. I'm this passage is confusing me. I feel like I'm all over the place. But yeah, he says it with a horrific gentleness, which I thought was perfect for the scene
Mhm.
and the tension because it's like a serial killer
Yeah.
is gentle because he's crazy. Like it has that vibe, but it's also sweet a little bit.
It's also a very Reese thing because everything he's doing is soft and gentle and erotic and like a
Yeah.
lover and caressing, and yet it's dangerous as fuck.
Yeah, that's like it fits his character, it fits them, and it also can seem really scary.
But it's also a really interesting
Yeah.
juxtaposition that makes his character seem so much more interesting
Yes. Yeah.
than than
Yeah.
Tamlin.
It kind of reminded me of do you watch The Walking Dead? A
I
lot
used
of
to.
this scene in the back and forth with Tamlin, especially like the begging, it just reminded me of Negan is all. But yeah.
I know Negan. I had stopped watching before Negan, but I know Negan. I know what Negan
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Um, I think that so and now after reading the 54, right? So Amarantha will enjoy breaking her almost as much as she'll enjoy watching you as she shatters her bit by bit. So like definitely scaring Tamlin enough to send
Mhm.
her away. I was like,
That's how you do
that's a
it.
call to action. Like that's how you scare the shit out of him. Um, I circled like a lover because again, I'm like, what is this very erotic, very personal and affectionate and weird. I don't. There's just it speaks volumes of a past relationship, and I don't mean it to be a sexual or
Mm.
romantic relationship, but a past history between Tamlin and Rhys, and that this is the strategy that he takes is that it's this like a lover and it's intimate and it's intense and like even just though like even regardless of the words that he's saying to Tamlin that are clearly evident of a history
Mhm.
between them, I think that we're also supposed to get a little bit of this like there's a familiarity between these two in the body languages of
Mm.
these two.
I did not read it like that. I read the lover stuff is like a double hit for like because she likes him. She's perceiving everything he does as like a lover.
Okay.
But primarily I read it as like this guy likes to play with his food. Like he's so
Oh,
dangerous
that too. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my main reading. But I do like the possibility of that intimacy. But I don't think that's like under a few layers. I think. But
Because he
yeah.
does do this a lot when he's playing the villain role. He does kind of get into
It's
that
like
like sexy
it's like
voice.
a guy who's
Yeah, it's a sexy bad
yeah,
boy
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do like
It's
that.
like
I
all
think it would it's probably not a
yeah.
primary. Wait, also before that, okay, sorry. This is when top of 239 again when he's going into her mind against my volition, my body straightened, every muscle going taut, my bones straining. Magic, but deeper than that. And I was like, is that the bond? Uh
Oh, yeah.
but or just is it some kind of other magic? Like I was just really interested by that magic, but deeper. Because it could be the mating bond. It could
Mhm.
also just be like maybe maybe Reese is
Well,
doing
the mating
something.
bond is there, it hasn't
Yeah,
snapped, but, like, there's clearly a bond
yeah,
between them. That is there, and so when like
like close to
attracts
light.
like
Yep.
sees yeah, yeah, right? And so, like, yeah, like, maybe when she's feeling his magic, that's why it's deeper because she's seeing more than just like, she's feeling it more than yes, it's in her
Hmm.
brain, so, like, that's even more deep where she's like, "Wow, that's a fucking intense magic," but it's also speaking to, like, how he's stronger than Tamlin, how his powers, like, are, like, he's scraping in
Hmm.
her mind, but no, I don't think it's weird to think that that's a foreshadow to the mate
Yeah,
bond.
kind of cool. Oh, also, I was and we were just talking. This is kind of jumping back again, but so we said we arrived at the conclusion that maybe he thinks that she won't say I love you in time because he looked into her mind. But do you think that's
Mhm.
because thinks or almost knows at this point that she's his mate, and that's why he thinks she won't do it?
No.
Because he doesn't know, but he says he suspects it right now.
That yes, he does suspect that she is his
Yeah,
mate
so maybe that's why he
now.
thinks she won't really break the curse,
I
or may not.
No, I think that he sees her
Mm.
reluctance. I think he sees her right the self-doubt. I think he
Or
sees
the newness.
the well that or the she still doesn't really believe in a better world. That yes, she's trying
Mhm.
to, but that she doesn't wholeheartedly and that she's not going to tear down that last wall of vulnerability because she still worries about her family and because she still is really apprehensive as to thinking like could this be a real
Yeah.
thing that I could actually be happy and be in love and he could love me too as a mortal. That's
Oh,
ridiculous.
yeah, yeah. Okay,
That yeah. I think that he's seeing doubt and vulnerability in her
okay.
head.
Or, all those descriptions that we point out as we see Tamlin and her interacting, maybe he just sees that she doesn't,
Mhm.
like, you know he describes her touch like a brand, like a cage, you know?
Well,
Maybe he
that
can
and
sense that.
also like But he can sense that her loyalties, even if she were to fall for Tamlin, she would still be reluctant because she's still worried about her family, as shitty as they are. That he can see that,
and it could also just be,
or maybe he's fucking making it up.
True.
Maybe he's being a dick about it. I don't know.
Well, he also just needs Tamlin to think that she won't be enough in time, because otherwise Tamlin might say, let's just see if she can do it and not send her away. Maybe that's why Tamlin sends her away, because he's like, no, Rhys looked into her mind. And also, it's not like he's probably not reading her mind. He's probably just feeling. Like, I imagine it's
I mean, he does say she wonders about the feelings of your fingers on her thighs.
Mm-hmm.
So like, no, I think he's filtering through. Like, I think it's like he's going through pictures, basically, is the kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Sorry. What else do you have? The only other thing I have is at the side of my High Lord being put so low, but I think that's later. But yeah. So teaser about Amarantha gonna break her, scares the shit out of him, and
yeah. So I underlined the same thing. I could have wept with rage at the sight of Tamlin being forced to bow to someone, at the sight of my High Lord being put so low. And then he says, "Fox boy."
The high-low thing was interesting to me, this line here, because on one hand, they're both her High Lord in each book, my High Lord. She only ever refers to Tamlin as my High Lord. In Rhys, she doesn't really say, oh, my High Lord, the same way that she does with Tamlin a lot in the first book. But anyway, I just thought it was interesting because, like, in a sense, like, literally Tamlin's being low because he's begging, but also Rhys is sort of brought low by Tamlin to make him do this slimy thing. Like, sort of metaphorically, like, they're both lower versions of themselves, because then I just thought that was kind of like a cute little whatever. But yeah, it's interesting.
So his question that says, are you doing this for your sake or for hers? I wrote, good fucking question. This question I've had this whole time. Is Tamlin doing anything for her sake, or is it just for his?
And maybe he felt guilty and was like, I'll send you back.
Maybe. And like, becoming High Lord has made you so boring. I did circle, I know that we're just supposed to be thinking about on the surface here, right? Giving him my name and my family name would only lead to the pain and suffering, and they could find my sisters and torment and drag.
No,
and blah, blah,
I
blah,
hesitated that my family name line too,
because of the way that it's written. It has the dash. Yeah. It's just like, giving him my name would lead only to more pain and suffering. Giving him my name, my family name, and like, okay. And then when she sees his name, when she says her name, and then he says, well, this was entertaining, the most fun I've had in ages, actually. I'm looking forward to seeing you 3 under the mountain. I'll give Amarantha your regards. So now he's already telling them, like, I'm going to tell her. Your groveling did nothing, because he's like, Tamlin's like, please. He's like, beg. And he's like, are you going to tell her? And he's like, maybe I will, maybe I won't. So he makes him beg for maybe not anything, and then as he's leaving, he says, I'll see you 3 under the mountain. I just thought it was really interesting that he's like, I don't know, I thought it was an interesting sentence.
Yeah, I actually saw it more as like, he just thinks even if she tries, Amarantha's gonna get her one way or another.
So if you keep reading for just a smidge in 54, because it says, then I just had to know your name, right? How does that go?
Sorry, let me pull it up again. Okay. But I was so selfish. I was so stupidly selfish that I couldn't walk away without knowing your name. And you were looking at me like I was a monster. So I told myself that it didn't matter anyway. But you lied when I asked. I knew you did. I had your mind in my hands, and you had the defiance and foresight to lie to my face. So I walked away from you again. I vomited my guts up as soon as I left. I checked back once to ensure you were gone. I went with them the day they sacked the manor to make my performance complete. I told Amarantha the name of that girl, thinking you'd invented it. I had no idea she'd send her cronies to retrieve Claire. But if I admitted my lie, and then he spared Claire and talks about all this stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, he feels selfish for wanting to know her name. But I guess that's because he he feels guilty that Claire was brought up at all. Is why he's emphasizing that so much.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that he knew that she lied to him, and that he didn't double check. Maybe he was just like, I'm already pushing my luck. I'm not going to press her on this.
Yeah. Or it shows that he's not reading actual thoughts, but that he's getting like Well, because then he had pushed out of her head by that point, right? Yeah, but he's like, but I knew that she lied. All right.
Yeah.
It's an interesting chapter.
So interesting.
Finally, we're going to get to the real story of this book.
I know. It really feels like, okay, now it starts.
250 fucking pages later, here we go. No, yeah. I mean, I get it.
I mean, I do like a slow burn and like the ramping up and stuff.
Oh, sure.
But yeah. And then next chapter we get fucking no, I mean other stuff too.
Yeah. So again, next week we will try for 27 and 28. And for the stars who listen, we will see you next week.
Sweet.